Hannah Morales was an active, passionate, dedicated, beautiful young woman. She was full of light and happiness and brought a smile to everyone that she came in contact with. On New Year's Eve 2015, Hannah attended a party with her friends. She was killed by a drunk driver. She was 16 years old. As we take a moment to remember Hannah, look to the person on each side of you. 1 in 3 Americans will be involved in an alcohol-related auto accident at some point in their lives. Will it be you, the person to your right, the person to your left? My name is Rebecca Williams, and I'm here today to tell you about the dangers of drunk driving and what you can do to prevent more tragic deaths like Hannah's. There are currently 9 states in the U.S. that do not suspend a drunk driver's license immediately upon suspicion of driving impaired. My main focus today will be on the impact that these suspension laws have on deterring drunk drivers. Suspending a drunk driver's license immediately at the time of the arrest reduces fatal car accidents related to alcohol by 5%. After hearing this statistic, 5%, you may think to yourself, well, that's not a very significant decrease. Why would we go about changing the law for such a small decrease? Well, despite the widely recognized dangers, drunk driving is a much larger problem than you may realize, and a 5% decrease translates to 800 lives saved per year. I'd like to discuss a few statistics with you that will shock you as they did me. According to Alcohol Alert, every 2 minutes, someone is injured in a drunk driving accident. Every 30 minutes, someone dies. By the time this speech is over, 2 people will have been injured in alcohol-related auto accidents. By the time you make it home, at least 1 person will have lost their life. In fact, data collected by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration show that over 17,000 deaths occur in the United States each year due to drunk driving. Also, according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, over 17% of drivers over the age of 21 openly admit to driving under the influence at least once per year. This means that 1 in 5 Americans admit to endangering their own lives and the lives of those around them at least once a year. My fellow Americans, this is unacceptable, but what can be done? I remember when taking my pets to obedience classes, the trainer would tell us that we have to punish bad behavior immediately after it occurs, otherwise our pets won't understand what they're being punished for. This same thought process goes for human beings as well. Study after study by legal scholars shows that swift punishment is much more effective at preventing future crimes. Psychologically speaking, the more quickly a consequence follows an unacceptable action, the less likely the action is to be repeated. And of course, knowing the swift, dramatic consequence of an action beforehand will factor into our decision as to whether or not to take that action in the first place. As I mentioned previously, all but 9 states have immediate suspension laws, meaning that a drunk driver's license is suspended effective immediately upon suspicion of driving under the influence. In 2007, 2 University of Florida epidemiologists, Alexander Wagner and Mildred Modano Molina, conducted a comprehensive study of the states that do have immediate suspension laws. The study conducted was essentially 46 separate studies using 26 years of data. They then compared their results side by side to see if the decrease they noticed was directly related to the suspension laws in place and if the effect was the same in all states. For example, they wanted to make sure that the laws didn't just deter drunk driving in a handful of states, or that there weren't extenuating circumstances causing the decreases that they had noticed. The researchers found that immediate suspension laws nationwide decrease the rate of drunk driving by 5%, which is where we come up with our figure that it saves 800 lives every year. These laws clearly make a significant difference in the minds of people who decide to get behind the wheel and risk everything. The 9 states that are lacking in these laws are Kentucky, Michigan, Montana, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Dakota, and Tennessee. My friends, the first step in eliminating drunk driving fatalities is making sure that these states immediately pass laws to take these reckless individuals off of the roads that we and our families travel on. Drunk driving is a problem that can be stopped. There are lives like Hannah Morales's that we can help save. If you live in or know anyone who lives in the above states Encourage them to write to their congressman. At the end of our discussion, I will be handing out a template to help you draft your letter, as well as mailing addresses for the congressional offices for all 9 of these states. And what if you don't live in one of these states? There are still things that you can do right now, today, to help save lives like Hannah's. Become a designated driver. You can also advocate breath alcohol testing. Encourage local businesses such as bars and restaurants to invest in a coin-operated breathalyzer. This may be the last decision point for someone about to get on the road drunk. And lastly, share what you have learned today with your friends and family. Tell them how to get involved. You can help save a life.